Okay, we have two types of screens. I can go to Recent here and look at Operator Manager. And the two types of screens are either a list-based or a form-based. 99% of the operational production screens start off as list-based, and the maintenance screens tend to be more form-based because they're used by a very limited number of people infrequently. So the whole system is primarily list-based. This type of list is called a browse. The browse has a couple of components. It has columns, it has rows, and most browsers have what are called a line detail panel. The line detail panel allows you to display more information about whatever item you're on without having to endlessly widen this, because we all have a limit on how wide our monitors can be. So we allow you to show more information about the highlighted view down here. Now again, as in nearly everything else, this is all site configurable. So if you're a system operator, you can configure it by going into the line detail, hitting F3, and then putting together what's called an expression that's evaluated so that you can show anything that you want there. If you want to see additional information on there, you just have to go to your sysop, and your sysop will then set it up. This can either be information from the current record, or it can be nearly anything. You can execute SQL queries, you can execute a number of different things every time you change highlighted records to show any sort of information that you want. It's a very, very powerful feature. So those are the two primary sections of the browse. Then you'll have hard-coded buttons under the browses, and frequently to the left side, you'll have function buttons. These function buttons are dedicated on a site-by-site basis to perform specific functions that frequently occur at that site. Contact your sysop for more information. The browsers have multiple columns. The columns can be changed both site specifically and user specifically. So you can have different data on your customer management screen or any other view based upon your company or based upon your preferences. The order entry people may want to have different information on their company list than the accounts receivable people. Accounts receivable may be interested in seeing last payment. Order entry salespeople may be interested in seeing last sale. Additionally, you can change sequences. We've defaulted this to company. I'd like to sort it by account. So you can either click on the A to Z, or you can click on the header and then select account. Now, one of the things that we do that's a little unusual is when you change sequences, it moves whatever you're sorting by to the left-hand column, because we feel that's a more natural way of displaying the information. And then whatever column you're sorting by, you can then search. If we want to search for customer 1023, we can just start typing and get to that customer record. We can also click the search button, and then we can type in there 1669, for example, and get to that customer. So the common searches or sequences that we have for company are company, zip code, account, a secondary company name, state, phone, rep, and alternate account number. If you're searching for something and it's not there, you can always do a wildcard search, and you know that, oh, I don't have that. Now, if you notice here, this phone number had 2223 in it. and it didn't find it, that's because on a site-specific basis, your system operator can set up what fields in the data record the full text search actually searches. I believe the city is in there. There we go. We've got one person in Naples. We got a bunch of people in Miami. So if you don't have a sequence you can search by, you can always search using the full text search. And again, it depends upon how your sysop has it set up. For example, this one on my development system, I've got it set up that it also searches the addresses. And you see I found the Computer Den because they have 3008 in their address. So we talked earlier in the toolbar about the configuration. For a browse, like I mentioned earlier, you can change column width, you can change search sequences. As you change sort sequences, not only does the sort column move to the left, but it also changes what columns are displayed. So if you notice here, by account, it shows high balance. If I switch to company, I have the current balance amount, but not the high balance amount. So we can add and subtract or add and remove columns by highlighting the column, going over to the tools and say, remove column. We can go back and we can say insert column. And let's add let's add their default currency. So it's very easy to customize your displays to what's relevant for the user looking at it. And again, the displays can be customized either user specific or company-wide or by branch or group. Additionally, we can do things, let's put a number on here. Let's sort this by name. We'll look for CBAL amount. This happens to be the current balance amount. So here you see it has no pennies. Now for salespeople and others, the dollar amounts are meaningful. However, if you're an accountant, you may say, I want to see the exact amount. So you could go here and change the column mask to 2, and now you would see pennies. So it allows you to change various column display information. You can insert a column, append a column, remove it, change the title, change the mask. The make column smaller is used if you have a situation where you have a really wide column that you've set up and you're now working on a smaller screen and you only see one column and you can't get over to grab it and make it thinner. You can use the make column smaller and it will then make the column smaller so that you can work with it. So do we have any questions on the browsers or on the lists, on their behavior, how to use them, anything like that? Okay.
Can you show how to take a column off?
Sure. Let's remove the currency column here. We'll highlight currency, put the cursor in the currency field, go to here and say remove column. Now, one of the downsides of removing a column is the column widths are stored based on the column number. So when you remove a column, you have to get your column widths set up again the way you want them. And then you click up here and say remember column sizes. And since I'm a sysop, I can say I want to make this change global for the current user or group. Is that where you wanted, Mark?
Yeah, yes, thank you.
Okay, if we've gotten, then you also have, when you're on a column, you have various options. One of the options you have is column help. And what column help does is displays the data dictionary record for that column, telling you the internal name, the title, the type, the length, a description from Stream, and you can also have a house help description that the sysop can set up. So if you have a field that the system doesn't use for anything specific and you have certain policies that describe how you want the field to be used, you can add that as help on a site-specific basis. From a list, you always have options. Again, context menu or button-based. The button options are pretty obvious. Invoices, orders, incidents, returns, their profile, quotes, this type of stuff. Here you see the invoices for the customer. The toolbar is the same, except in this case now, if we click on one and say email, the system now allows us to email that invoice to the customer. It has a default text, which is normally done on a site-specific basis. You can select additional people to send it to, customers, vendors, manufacturers, reps, operators. You can add additional body attachments. If you're not running Outlook 365, but you're running a local-based Outlook, you can also move the email over and edit it in Outlook. Then off of our invoice, we can drill down again. An example of toolbar use, we can zoom. This gets us the invoice detail. We can expand. This gets us the invoice lines. We can drill down again with zoom and keep going deeper and deeper. In addition to the buttons on every list, we have context sensitive help. Context sensitive information or options. We can do zoom to look at the company detail, expand for context, column help I showed you. We can copy the field of the line to the clipboard, and we can look at various other things.